Hi.
And kind of going on that same note, in the age of fake media or fake news, where do you get your news?
That's a really good question. Well, I was telling them during the campaign, during the 2012 campaign, I watched wall-to-wall MSNBC because there was a lot of stuff coming out of the 2012 campaign where people said all the people in the Romney campaign were shocked. We all had no idea we were going to lose. And people would say that to me afterwards, like, oh, did you think that? Were you crushed? And I was like, no, I knew we were going to lose. And the reason because I can't drink the Kool-Aid. You know what I mean? Like, if you're in charge of the rollout on education policy, like, you can run around and all the pollsters are saying good things internally, and you can ignore the fact that the Real Clear Politics average in all the battleground states has us within the margin of error the whole way through. I can't ignore that, you know? I mean, because I got to know, am I turning people out to vote that already support us, or am I trying to persuade people? Like, what are we doing here, right? What's the temperature? Whereas if you're just kind of in the policy shop and you already did the education rollout, it's like, it doesn't really change the education policy. The education policy is what the education policy is. You can be like, woohoo, like, measure the drapes. So when I'm in campaign mode, I watch whatever is going to beat up on us the most, because that is a legitimate argument that people believe. There are legitimate feelings that people have. They may not be what I agree with, but I have to figure out a way to communicate with that. That's my most skeptical audience, and I want to at least make them sit back and think. You know, they may not agree or vote for us, but I want them to think. Not during the campaign cycle. I get it from a lot of various sources. And I think this kind of pigeonholing of media is one of the worst things that's happened to the electorate. Not only because we don't have a common script in terms of factual information, as you know, but also because it allows you to stay in the bubble. And if you do any reading, and I know Charles Murray is a very controversial figure, I get that, but if you actually read Coming Apart, the data in that book is shocking. And this whole idea of super zips and the idea that, you know, we are geographically becoming completely, you know, homogenized within these groups that never speak to one another. That's scary stuff, and you amplify that with the media. Soon you have an electorate that has no ability to empathize with other people, to put themselves in their shoes, to even understand their experience or their perspective. And so I try really to read a lot of diverse stuff. I'm reading a ton. I'm working on a project right now that's specifically targeted at bringing factual information about policies to college campuses. So I'm reading a lot of Jezebel and Refinery 29 and like anything that has a readership between 18 and 35, I'm reading a lot of that because I'm trying to figure out how we talk to people 18 to 35 and get them interested in policy and get them engaged. Not from a partisan perspective, simply from let's have a factual, no politics conversation about public policy problems. So I'm reading a lot of that. I also read, I read the Wall Street Journal, but I read the New York Times. And I'm kind of into Don Lemon right now. And I don't know how that happened, but I do know how it happened. It was New Year's. Did you see him on New Year's?
Yeah.
I did not love Don Lemon on CNN as much as I do right now, but I really do love Don Lemon. So I gotta say, I'm watching a lot of Don Lemon. Is that weird? Does anybody else watch Don Lemon? Let's all watch him. It would make his day. But yeah, I do a lot of that. And a lot of CNN commentary I'm watching right now. Fox, I just feel like what's going on at Fox, it's very hard for me to ignore the internal stuff. And even though I like Dana Perino, I think there are very smart people over there, but that I find and MSNBC is really going through something similar, not with the sexual harassment angle, which is troubling, but I think they're also kind of trying to find their identity. So I'm kind of doing a lot of CNN.